Well, joining us to discuss the situation, a peaceful solution to the conflict in Kosovo may seem like a long shot now after NATO talks with Yugoslav military officials broke down on yesterday. I'm sure you heard about that. What will it take to get the momentum going again, especially now that Slobodan Milosevic is talking peace once again? Joining us to discuss all of this is Joe DioGuardi, who is the former New York Congressman and the current president of the Albanian American Civic League, and Radmila Milentijevic. She is the former Serbian minister in information and a professor at City University of New York. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you coming in.
Morning.
You know, so much has changed over the weekend. I mean, while we're sitting out at the beach, the war stopped and started again, and now he's saying he's willing to come back to the table. What's this all about?
What this is all about, the war didn't stop. NATO continued to bomb and continues to bomb today. What has happened here is the document of two pages of the document which President Arisari and Chernomidin took to President Milosevic stipulates, and you read it clearly, everything that is to be done regarding Kosovo is under the auspices of the United Nations. The United Nations Security Council has to vote the resolution. And until that resolution is voted, the specifics of the withdrawal of the Serbian troops and the ultimate resolution of the problem cannot be achieved.
Well, it seems the sticking point here is that Milosevic wants to leave some of his troops in there and doesn't want to guarantee safe return of those refugees. And you know what? NATO's been at this for those two goals the whole time, and if he won't do that, well, we're going to keep on bombing.
Right. You hear the NATO spokesman this morning and last night. They're talking of NATO and NATO alone. No, it's the Security Council of the United Nations.
You know what? I don't understand that, and here's why, Joe. The whole time, this hasn't been a UN thing. We've avoided the UN carefully because of fears of vetoes and other reasons that we all understand. This is about NATO.
Haven't we been here before? Haven't we seen Milosevic break every promise that he's made? And that's why you must keep up the bombing. In fact, I think you have to intensify the bombing. There was a poll done overnight that says that 70% of the people, more than 70%, do not trust Slobodan Milosevic, and 63% say keep the bombing until we have this deal solidified. Milosevic has lost. That's why he's crying uncle. When someone loses, and NATO was won, we must impose our terms.
I have to ask you, though, has he really lost? I mean, haven't a lot of his objectives absolutely been met? I mean, how many Kosovar Albanians are left in that country?
Look at
and
Serbia.
For the ones who aren't there, what do they have to go back to? Not a whole heck of a lot.
Separate. He's now an indicted war criminal. All the infrastructure in Serbia, bridges, electricity, trains, the military infrastructure, gone. He's got the worst reputation now in the world as a war criminal. The Serbian people have been brought down to their knees economically. Yes, the Albanians are out, but they must return because we cannot allow this to stand in this century. Ethnic cleansing.
I understand, and I am very much in agreement that the Albanian refugees should return back to Kosovo.
But they need security. They need security to return. That's why NATO has to be in charge.
Yugoslavia is an independent state. Yugoslavia is a sovereign state. NATO is a military alliance. Yugoslavia does not want NATO on its territory as NATO. It would come in as an occupying force. Yugoslavia has to fight to prevent occupation. So what Yugoslavia is looking for is the proper organization, that is the United Nations, which has the authority in such matters. What's the fear in going to the Security Council resolution, where the relationship of the forces are even more equal?
There's more to it than
there's China there, there's Russia there, as well as the United States.
We got a little breaking news that I want to pass along, but it's also important to remember, if I'm Slobodan Milosevic, and from what we know about him, his primary goal is to stay in power. And it sounds like, at least for now, he's done that. I want to read you what's just crossing here. This from Moscow. Foreign ministers from the 7 leading industrial nations and Russia meeting in Bonn today agreed on a draft UN Security Council resolution on the crisis in Kosovo. This, according to Russia's RIA news agency, quoting unidentified diplomatic sources in Bonn, saying that the draft could be sent to the Security Council here in New York as soon as tonight. Now, that should move things along pretty quickly.
That doesn't mean that NATO is not going to be in charge. What they're saying is NATO will be the core group for security underneath a resolution. That doesn't mean NATO is, the UN is going to take over. God forbid. You know, look at Bosnia. 800,000 refugees have yet to return to Bosnia. Do we want that here? Do you think any Albanians will return if there's not complete security? I mean, this is the whole objective.
Mr. DioGuardi talks...
You know what, we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but we got to hit a commercial break. Thanks to both of you. Appreciate it. The conflict in Kosovo is the story that's tops on Fox this morning. We'll cross over to Belgium and find out what NATO has to say about the peace breakdown.